In this video, I'm going to be teaching how to sew this blouse. I already have the pattern on my channel, so if you're interested in it, kindly watch till the end. So I'm using satin fabric for this top and I'm using 2 yards. So I went ahead to place my patterns on the fabric and then cut out. So the shoulder and then wherever they'll be joining in between, you add 1/2 inch, and then the side I added 1.5 inches, and then the folding allowance is 1 inch. So for the lower part, you are going to cut 2, and then the upper part you are going to cut 1, which is unfold for the back, and then for the front you are going to cut 4, that is 2 for each part or each side of the front, and then the upper part you are going to cut 2, that is 1 for each side of the front. So after slashing, you have to spread it to your preferred size, so you can spread it as wide as you want. So I'm going to pin it down and then show you how many inches I added to it. So I added about 7 inches to it. You can make it as wide as you want, 8, 9, 10, 12, depending on how many or how much gathering you need at the front part. So I marked 7 down and then 7 up, and then I'm going to be marking same at the center. After that, I'll connect the points together and then place the other side on it just like this, and then pin it down as well. So after pinning it down, remember I added 1.5 inches to the side of the lower part, so I'm doing same to the upper part, and then at the front and then the shoulder, make sure you join it like I'm doing before you add your seam allowance to it. So I'm cutting out with 1/2 inch seam allowance all round except for the side, which is 1.5 inches. So this is what I have for the front. I'll take off the pins and then show you what I have now. So this is how it looks like after cutting out. I'm going to be making gathers at the upper part and then the lower part, and then show you what to do next. So this is the gathering stitches I have. I'm going to pull it out at the upper and then the lower part respectively. So you are making sure when you pull it's the same size as where you'll be joining. Let me show you what I mean here. So just open up the upper part of the back, and then I'm going to place the upper part of the front on top of it this way, with right side facing each other. So you make sure you pull the gathers to the size of the back shoulder. So when you get your preferred size, you go ahead and then tie it. Spread the gathers evenly. Make sure the gathers are evenly distributed before you pin it down and then stitch. So I'll be repeating the same step on the other side as well. After stitching, this is what I have. Let me show you how it looks like. So because this fabric is a bit shaky, the gathers can't really be seen well, but then it still looks good. And then the next thing I'll be doing is to open up the back. So I told you earlier that you're going to cut 2 pieces of the back. So this is how it's going to be done. So you place it on like this, and then you turn it upside down and then place the other side on top of it before you pin. So this is how it is. So make sure you make a notch at the center before you join. So the right side is facing right side for the ones under, and then the right side of the one on top is also facing the wrong side. So please pay attention to what I'm doing and then follow the step. After that, you go ahead and then stitch 1/2 inch or the inches you added earlier. So after stitching, this is what it looks like. You see everywhere, or the seam is inside, and then the finishing looks very nice. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to open it up this way and then join it at the side. So you see, just join it at the side like this and then pin it down. So remember, we added 1 inch to the lower part, so you are going to stitch that 1 inch before you turn out. So after stitching the 1 inch, this is what I have now. So I'm actually done with the back. At this point, I'm going to work on the front. So you measure around that part I am measuring, and then whatever you get, you are going to cut a strap that's long. So I have about 36 inches, so you make sure you cut about 40 inches so that at the end of the day you can trim the rest off. So the width of this is 5 inches folded into 2, which is 2.5 inches. I'll be stitching 1/2 inch, and at the end of the day I'll have 2 inches left. So make a notch at the center of the strap and then at the center of the back neckline, and then pin it down like I am doing. So you take your time and then do this, and then at the end of the day, this is what I have for the front. So as you can see, our blouse is already taking shape. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to pull the gathers of that part as well, and then join the lower part to it. So like we did for the back, we are going to do same for the front. Since there's going to be button at that part, I fused it with either hard or medium interfacing. Whichever you have, you can use it and then fuse it nicely. So after fusing, I'm going to stitch that part. This is what I meant. And then after stitching, we are going to add it to the upper part of the front. So like the way I did it for the back, I'm going to do the same for the front. So just open it up, but before that, make sure you spread the gathers evenly. Make sure the gathers are evenly distributed before you join it to the lower part. So just tie or secure the ends after pulling the gathers before you fix the lower part to it to prevent it from becoming bigger. So just open it up like this, and then at the center you open up the lining for the lower part and then the main fabric like I have done, and then just pin it down. After pinning one side, flip it over and then pin the other side so that you get everything accurate. Because this fabric is shaky, that is why I'm doing it this way. But if your fabric doesn't shake, you can just pin both at once and then you are good to go. So this is how it looks after pinning. Next, I'm going to stitch 1/2 inch on both sides. So this is what I have at the moment, and then I'm going to join the lower part by 1 inch folding allowance like I did for the back. And then after that, just turn it out this way, and then this is what I have. So at this point, we are actually done with the top or most parts of the top. The next thing we are going to do is to join the sides by 1.5 inches or whatever inches you added, and then it's time to work on the sleeve. So the fabric is folded into two. I'm going to be cutting both sleeves at once. So first thing you have to do is to determine the length of your sleeve. Mine is 23 inches. So depending on how long you want it to be or how short you want it to be, this basically depends on you. So however you want it at this point, do it the way you want. So I'm going to trim off the excess fabric before I proceed. So first thing I'm going to be doing is to mark 5.5 inches down from the upper parts, just like this, and then connect the points together. At this point I realized my chalk wasn't really showing, but bear with me and then follow the steps. So after that I went ahead to measure the armhole. So at the end of the day, when I measured, I have about 19.25 inches. So that is what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to divide 19.25 by 2. Whatever I have, I'm going to be marking it on that 5.5 inches line I marked earlier. So the next thing I'll be doing is to now add excess to it. After getting the armhole, since this is goddess, you have to add extra. You can add about 9 inches to it again as well, or more than that, but then this is how big my fabric is, so that is what I'm going to use for the goddess. So after that, just go ahead and then connect from the corner to the last end of your fabric, or how wide you want your goddess to be. So after getting what I went ahead to cut out, and then next thing I'll be doing is to make gathers at the upper part, and then at the lower part I'm going to be stitching 1/2 inch in, where I'll be placing my elastic band. So this is me pulling out the gathers and then making sure it is the same size of the armhole. So after pulling the gathers, make sure you add about 1/2 inch or 1 inch at the side for sewing. Otherwise, you won't be able to fix it well on your sleeve. So next, measure your arm this way, and then whatever you have, you are going to use that to cut out the elastic band. So this is me cutting it out. I'm going to be cutting 2 of it to fix on both sleeves. So next thing I'll be doing after cutting is to just insert the band at the lower part and then pin both sides before I stitch. So next thing I'll be doing after placing the band is to stitch it, and then after stitching, this is what I have. So after stitching, all you have to do now is to notch the center of the sleeve and then match it to the shoulder seam and then pin them together. So make sure you distribute the gathers evenly before you pin it to the armhole. I always say distribute it evenly because it has to be even. Otherwise, one part will have more gathers than the other side, which will make your outfit look funny. So always make sure you distribute your gathers evenly before you pin or before you stitch. So this is me taking my time to pin it and then make sure everything is evenly distributed. And then after stitching, I went ahead to fix my buttons, and then that is all for the tutorials. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and share my videos. Bye.